Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of
The Loud Ones Podcast.
I am your host, Nas B.
And I'm Dany B.
And today we have a special guest, a return special guest. I'm going to let her reintroduce herself.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is...
What's up, y'all? It's the one and only Mojo Disco here, coming to you live from this place.
Yes, the Loud Ones Podcast, guys. So shout out to everybody who's been tuning into our YouTube channel. We appreciate the views so much and your comments and your feedback. And we're just going to keep that rolling with this episode. So this week's episode, we're going to be covering the Dwayne Wade's topic. Crazy topic. He's been in the news a lot and making a huge headlines regarding his daughter, Zaya, and her transitioning. So, Dany, Dwayne Wade 2 weeks ago first announced that his daughter was going to transition and coming out as Zaya. He also he and his wife Gabrielle did a post on IG where they just showed a clip of how Zaya interacts and her thoughts on how society will accept her. That went really viral really quick. And a lot of IG and Facebook parents came into play. They vocalized their opinions. They called Dwayne Wade out for his support of his trans daughter. And then
what did you say? His
trans daughter. They also, a lot of people said they're gonna bow out from supporting him and his wife.
I mean, he's retired already. Fuck it.
Yeah. So it went really, really haywire. I know on my personal pages, my Facebook and IG, my feed was crazy, and it's still crazy because Dwayne Wade continues to go on a lot of kind of a media tour talking about this. So we brought Mojo on because we're going to get into a lot of things regarding Mojo and her feedback she's got from a lot of the supportive posts that she put out there in support of Zaya. But we didn't want to cover this topic without someone who had a very similar experience. Mm-hmm. So we didn't want to speak for someone of the trans experience at all. So we definitely want to bring Mojo back on this episode. So
thank you for having me as a resident trans woman.
Yes.
I appreciate the invite.
Our expert.
Yes. Our go-to trans woman. Yes.
So, Dany, thoughts. When you first saw this post, and I want you to talk about what did you think when you saw the post, and then what were the comments you saw on your feed? Because the IG parents came fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for one, when I first saw it, I commended Dwayne Wade, because a lot of times children don't feel safe enough to tell their parents that, I want to transition, I feel this way, or I want to be this way. And not only do kids not feel, I guess, open enough to tell. Yeah. Parents aren't even open enough to address it and, support their child enough to do it. So I completely and 100% commend Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union for supporting Zaya in her transition. As for the comments, I seen Jessica Dime say something. Let me just gather up everybody in one. That is not your motherfucking child. Mind your goddamn business. That has nothing to do with you, and you have no right to tell somebody how to parent their child, because you do not. As a kid, you would have hated for somebody to come and try to tell your mom that you was in the street knucking and bucking at 12, because, bitch, I know a lot. Mm-hmm. So somebody can know their self and want to be somebody who they feel is true to themselves. If they want to. There's no reason for you to feel like you can tell somebody how to be themselves. If they feel like they are a girl, they are a motherfucking girl. You mind your goddamn business, because you are whoever you want to be.
And I saw Boozy come out with a video.
Don't give a fuck about him. He got like 17 kids.
Boozy's point was like, I'm not pussy. I'm going to say what the fuck y'all been wanting to say. That is a boy. Now, I saw a lot of other comments. What's her name?
He's a boy too.
Soraya from... Empire or whatever. I think her name is fucking Soraya or something. I saw she made several posts, which I'm like, bitch, please do not join this bandwagon. I think one thing that I want to say, where I notice people don't know how to fucking read, nor do they listen or watch a full fucking interview. At not one point in that interview did Dwayne Wade said that Zaya was going to cut off her genitalia. Not one fucking point. So everyone's point was based on the fact that
if he said that his daughter wanted to, What is the point?
So a lot of the parenting that I saw was, how could you let a child at 12 cut off their penis? And I'm like, okay, this is how I know that you're 30 and you're that fucking ignorant. When someone decides to transition, and I'm going to get into how I feel about it, but I had to explain to a friend of mine, there's a difference between gender and sexuality. And that's something
that Mojo put me on
to the first time she came on.
That's all I wanted for Christmas, for people to understand the difference between gender and sexuality.
And I got into a lot of arguments. Even I had to further explain I got into a lot of arguments that I didn't welcome. I woke up to a lot of comments and texts and things from family members and fucking friends, and I was like, you ever had that moment where you're like, shit, I hang around some ignorant ass fools, and you don't notice until some shit like this come up, and I'm like, I can't fucking talk to you. This is how there's a huge difference between gender and sexuality.
Yeah.
Everyone, I think, kept considering. A lot of people I saw was like, okay, I don't have no problem with you being gay, but when you want to start cutting off your penis, that's a whole nother problem. Okay, this is the problem. And all I wanted to tell people, listen to the episode we had with Mojo, because Mojo mentioned that the LGBTQ community should remove the T.
Yeah.
Because the other letters represent a sexuality. And T meaning that person is transitioning from one gender to another.
Right.
That does not mean that person is changing sexuality in any regard.
Right.
So when the argument became, I'm like, one, Dwayne Wade did not say that he was agreeing or that Zaya cut off her genitalia. Zaya had mentioned in some videos that she knew that she was born in the wrong body. She felt uncomfortable living as a boy, and that she always felt like she was meant to be a girl, and that's who she wants to identify as a female.
I think the conversation, what needs to happen now, because we done got all the ignorance out, right? So we done turn on the light and the roaches are scattering.
Yes.
Right? So I think what needs to happen now is that we need to have these tough conversations, and we need to evaluate the capacity in which people choose to be ignorant, because it is a choice. Like you said, there are a million articles. There are full interviews.
And they're starting to teach it now in school.
And they're teaching it now in school, whereas where that was more of a higher education thing, gender studies in college and academia, now it's going down into grade level, which I feel should have always been, So people need to really do that work of unlearning their biases. And what kills me is when people try to throw religion in the mix.
I had that argument too.
So the biggest of sinners had the most to say about, how this child is loved. And, I had a post on Facebook go viral because I had said that it was Black history seeing a Black family not only celebrate, but champion a trans child as a family unit publicly.
Yes.
We've never seen that before.
It's true.
And it went viral.
Before we get into that post, because I feel like that post, I saw some comments.
I had to turn the notifications off.
It's crazy because
I believe you.
Yeah.
I spoke to our friend Ashley. I talk to Ashley like every day. So
Hey,
Ashley, hey Ash, thank you for supporting Ash.
Right.
She supports everything. Ash, I woke up to this long message, because at the time when I last saw the post, it just started getting like thousands of shares. But the comments were still coming in. Right. So I already told myself, I was like, okay, I'm going to pin it. I'm going to come back and see, because I already know it's about to be crazy.
Right.
And then I saw you had a post saying, oh my God, you hate when you go viral because your comments in shambles or something like that.
Yeah.
So Ashley messaged me and she says, hey Nas, I checked in on Mojo. I just want to see if you did the same. And I said, no. I woke up to it and I was like, I wanted to read the feedback. And, if there was anything that I saw that could be harmful to you, I just was obviously going to check on you. And me and her had a conversation about it, because Ashley and I both equally have a lot of friends from that community.
Yeah.
And once after her text message came in, I saw a host of other ignorant shit come in, and I was talking to her about how upset I was, because I feel that although I'm not a part of the community, I do personally feel like I'm an ally.
Yeah.
I felt disappointed.
Of course.
I felt disappointed and I felt hurt because I have a child. I don't know what my son will be. I don't know.
Right.
I don't fucking know. And I think that when I saw other parents, and you saw that I got into it with some parents online.
Yeah.
From a post that I had, I just think like, I'm gonna love my child. I don't give a fuck what my son decides to do with his life.
Right.
I have to love him through that because I have my life already. I had it. All I know is that I'm making sure I'm giving you the right morals and values, and I want to trust that I raised you right. However you decide to live, that's your life.
Right.
Just as long as you're not hurting anyone. And just to see that Dwayne Wade came out and he talked about the education that he required to just acknowledge what his daughter was going through and have a better understanding so that he could further explain to his children and those surrounding his children. And Gabrielle Union talked about she reached out to some people, you know, within the community because they wanted to surround themselves and really embed themselves. There's like, if you're going to go through this, we want to be your support system. And because of course they have more money and more resources, they want to make sure we can build you up and support you however.
Right. And
it's sad just to see from the ranks of celebrities, like A-list celebrities, coming out against him and attacking. And I'm like, first off, I don't personally know Zaya, but from the videos that I've interacted with just online, a beautiful spirit.
Zaya is my wildest dream.
And I don't understand.
Zaya is my wildest dream.
I don't understand.
Like I'm not dead. I'm not an ancestor yet, but that is my wildest
That's crazy
dream.
to me.
Like when I see Zaya, like, for me, and also I want to make note that when we look at, like how you were saying, educating and doing that work or whatever, we have to look at the fact that they had to educate themselves as a family unit to get ready for this to go public. Because they know it was inevitable. They was making fun of the child since the child was a kid. Like, oh, something's wrong with that one. Something's wrong with that one. And the conversation is something of siblinghood. Because what we fail to realize is that people may be trans or cis or whatever LGBT, whatever you want to be, we're all Black. So this is a conversation of siblinghood. This is a conversation of what happens when someone in the family is different or not like the others.
And you know? What's crazier to me is they started to drag other people involved. Like they dragged Magic Johnson and EJ Johnson into it. And I will say that
EJ does not identify as a trans woman.
No.
Let's get that very clear.
EJ identifies as gay. However, he likes to dress however he's feeling. So what bothered me is that I felt that when people are bringing up Magic Johnson, I'm like, I would feel better if he and not saying that he's not supportive of EJ. I think that it hit everybody in a different way because EJ was out of the View for a minute, came out with a show on E, and then was talking more about his sexuality and his identity. And it wasn't anything that Magic did to say, okay, because a lot of people questioned for a long time what's going on. Like, your son looks a little different. Like, he's not into sports. He's tall, all this stuff. And he would brush it off in interviews, right? Him and Cookie never came out publicly. Do I think that it might have helped? Because I do think that when his son came out as being gay, and then because he became a socialite immediately, you know, and everyone loved his fashion style, at least from I think he has a lot of female supporters. I do think that taking that route would have been better. A lot of people said, why don't you just be like Magic Johnson and just, he has a gay son and just don't say nothing.
Well, you know, they were on Red Table Talk, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Cookie and EJ. And EJ broke down that it wasn't all peaches and cream with dad, with Magic Johnson at first. So that's why we wouldn't see EJ. Because his father was literally hiding him.
So people had a problem with Dwayne Wade going public. And I'm like, why the fuck are you so bothered by it? But they feel like, well, if you're a celebrity and you're putting your shit out there, we have the right to say what the fuck we want.
That is the number one thing. Just because it's public doesn't mean that you have the right to comment. You see, because the thing is that I could know a lot of y'all business, and I know a lot of people business.
You put this shit online all day.
All the time. And I should comment on every fucking thing you put up. But guess what? You know what I do? Mind my goddamn business. Because at the end of the day, when I comment, it's not going to change whether you do something right or wrong. And that's the one thing that I hated that you see all of these people having so many things to say about Zaya, and they have no idea what it feels like, and then want to throw in religion. First the fuck of all, don't even start with no religion shit, because half of them shits, there is no sin that is bigger than the other. So any sin that you commit, it's equal to the sin that you think that Zaya has committed.
Speaking of religion, I don't know if you guys saw this, but this I felt like was a consistent thing that people said was God don't make no mistakes.
Right.
And why are you fucking up his creation, basically?
Right.
And I was just like, let me tell you something. This life that we live is designed by God. If you are religious and you want to think of it that way, then whatever we're doing, that's why people say I'm putting in the hands of God, right? We say, okay, we're gonna walk in, in the spirit of God and Jesus. If you want to get to being religious, then you're talking about God created you like this as a man, and why would you change that? Okay, that God could also created you as a man, but knew what he was doing and wanted you to have this experience, because people like Mojo going through her experience, she's also able to educate. You also have a platform where you help other individuals that went through yourself. So
understand that it's my choice to do
that.
And that's the number one thing. I could have
easily been stealth in my transition, and disappeared from the world and reimagined and rebranded the way I wanted to. But I chose to use my experience as an educational standpoint. And for me, what happens is that in our community, in our churches, in our family functions, we have a history of homophobia and transphobia, and people were like, I'm not scared of gay people, I'm not homophobic. No. When I say homophobia, it's just like racism. It's structural, it's systematic. We live automatically in a homophobic environment, in transphobic environments, and that starts with not knowing or not being educated on what these things actually are.
I had a friend, the friend that sent me, I'm not even gonna read the text because I don't want him to look as bad as it is.
Blow him up. If you want this text, follow the Loud Ones podcast. Email, subscribe to the newsletter. It will be coming out if you're that interested.
So it got to the point where I don't know if he got so frustrated, he just started sending mad voice notes, and because he was sending paragraphs.
Sorry.
And the conversation started off, and I hate this conversation because it's so ignorant, because I think of it in the same terms of when we talk about racism. You know how you speak to someone who's not racist, right? And they say, I have a black friend. I'm not racist. Or I sat next to a black person in science one time. I'm not racist. So the conversation started off with, per your Facebook post. Literally.
My God.
It was per your Facebook post. Something, actually, let me not fuck up the words, because I don't want to be called
verbatim
a liar. And I love you, friend, and I'm not going to say who you are, but
But we all have friends like this. And people like that make us question how we value friendship.
So it says, the text says, regarding your Facebook post, just because someone doesn't agree with gays or transgender people lifestyle, it doesn't make them homophobic, though. I feel people are quick to call someone homophobic just because they don't agree with it, or they not with that stuff. Just my take on it. And then they were like, oh, yeah, good night. Like, my nigga, you said, because more text came in.
But wait, pause.
I do want to pause that,
Hold on.
Go ahead.
LGBT issues, trans issues, it's not anything for you to disagree or disagree.
Agree
or disagree with. It's not your life.
Thank you.
So,
took the words right out my mouth.
This
you don't have a say.
Let's do this.
The next text, I'm going to get so much shit for this. The next text goes... The next text goes, because I'm not even going to go on what I was responding, because basically I was just, I went in already because I was pissed.
Please.
So it says, but Nas, with all due respect, Dwayne Wade child is a boy who was born a male with male private parts. He will never have a monthly cycle like a female does, or be able to bear a child as a female. Now, by me saying clear facts, right, because he says those are facts, does this make me a homophobic person? No. And then he told me to look up the term homophobic, means basically unreasonably fair towards homosexuals, right?
Pause.
Go ahead. Because the next part is where the ignorance.
So what happens when because nobody ever has anything to say about women trying to or transitioning into being men. So nobody ever says, how come? Nobody has anything to say about fucking Young and May. Nobody.
Never.
Nobody.
Nope. Hit record.
Nobody.
Nope.
Nobody. And oh my God.
I honestly
it's just
feel like it's an ego problem because there are a lot of trans who can pass. And I think that men get scared that they might be, get caught dating a trans. So I think it's more offensive to the male ego than for females, because for females, it's like, females are more, I don't want to say, you're not going to find the harsh reality and the harsh reaction as you would compared to a man who would find someone attractive and then find out later they're trans. They would be extremely upset because of the reaction.
What it is in the black community, it's not, LGBT issues is not actually a problem.
The
problem is, I call it femphobia.
Yeah.
So it's never a problem when a woman presents more masculine as an AG. Exactly. Or where a woman is lesbian. Mm-hmm. That's never an issue. But it's the issue when someone who's supposed to be masculine does not adhere to those principles. That's when the issue and friction comes in.
You better explain what my point I was trying to get to.
And to update, Oxford Dictionary updated.
I sent those definitions.
Okay, of homophobia.
Screenshot of homophobia, and I haven't heard a peep.
Right, because they're shook about it.
Yes,
because it's changed.
Because the voice,
it's changed.
Because
it's not just
he
fear
sent
anymore.
a voice note laughing at me like, "Oh my God, Nas! Like you need to read and da 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 da." And before you start getting on people, mind you, I did not target anyone on my posts. Dany, you're not on Facebook like that, but so I didn't target anyone on my posts. I just said my opinion, and I noticed that the people who went crazy to me, it bothers them. It struck a chord. Yeah. So the next part goes, I've been around gays. Right. My film teacher was gay. Mm-hmm. I had conversations with gays. Mm-hmm. I'm not scared of them. This is the one I was saying when I have a black friend. Gays just don't agree with their lifestyle, understand it. So stop. He says, so people need to stop calling people homophobic just because they don't agree with it. He goes on to say some shit. But this is my point. When you're trying to support the fact that you're not homophobic with stating homophobic shit, I just was like, so I found it so comical, and I'm like, you just fucking said it. And then at the end, he went on to say, I don't know if you believe in God, but, and all this other stuff. One thing that was really mean, and I was that really blew my spirit that night. It was something to the effect of that he wished that God never created this group, the community. And it burned my soul for so many reasons. My sister has a best friend that we were raised with as a brother because his situation, he was gay, and he was harmed as a child by church members. And so my mom took him in, and I was born into a household where, that's my brother. Like from birth, I knew him as my brother. And so I was raised knowing I had a gay brother, essentially. Right. Not by blood, but obviously through just the relation, and we lived together. Right. And so I immediately was, I wouldn't say forced, but I was raised in a home where we loved one another no matter your orientation, no matter how you identified. And I always talk about my sister going to Vassar because that exposed us even more to the community, because it's a liberal college and there's a lot of people from that community that went to the college. So my sister would bring home friends who are trans, who are gay, who are queer, and she would break it down to us because as children, we just didn't understand it. And so I met a lot of beautiful people. I've known you since we were kids. Right. And so for me, it was hurtful when he had said, I wish that God never created that community, because that would mean that the people that come from the community that I interact with would not be here. Mm-hmm. There's some great artists. There's some great people in the world who come from that. A lot of the fashion designers that these straight ass men wear come from that community.
Wayne, so like all these people, like what the fuck?
I can't imagine you saying that you wish that they were never here. And that's when I said, you started off trying to prove you were not homophobic. And I said, that's the fucking problem with people like you, because that's homophobic.
But it's textbook prejudice. All prejudice has the same language. Yeah. Like you said, I'm not racist, I have a black friend. Facts. I'm not homophobic, I have a gay friend. It always has the same language. You don't think they said the same exact thing during Jim Crow? I don't have a problem with black people. They just can't go to school with my kids.
I don't like at the water fountain with us.
No, you can't do it. It's always the same prejudice. It's prejudice, no matter how it is. But what I want to do, I want to center this story back to Zaya, because if anything, I know we limited on time, but I want to educate the people on that experience as someone who has lived that same exact experience. So when people, again, like you said in the beginning, people need to understand the difference between sexuality and gender. Sexuality is like Jenna Mock says, sexuality is what you do in the bedroom. Gender is how you go to bed. These are two different things. Okay. So when we have the conversation of, oh, she's too young to know. When did you know you was a boy? When did you know you was a girl? Because in our society, we are slapped those things after we come out the cooch. You know, so there's no indicator.
On your birth certificate.
You know, Dwayne Wade literally said, you know, Zaya knew when Zaya was 3 years old.
Right.
So what that shows us is that this child is a smart child.
Absolutely.
The child understands world issues. And it's a feeling that this child knows, okay, I feel a little different than what you guys assigned to me. Because no one is born gender. Gender is a social construct. That's why you do not have your gender on your birth certificate. You cannot be born a gender. You're assigned gender in the hospital or the taxi cab or the bathtub, wherever you're born at, but you're not born that gender. You're born male, female, or intersex. And what happens a lot of times, people who have intersex children, they make a choice if they want their child to be male or female. But that's a different podcast episode.
Yes.
For me,
when did you? I know we talked about it on your episode, but when did you? Just to revisit it, when did you know that you wanted to be a female?
Well, looking back at it, I didn't know what trans was.
I know you didn't have the language.
I didn't have the language. So for me, I knew I never was a boy because I didn't have that feeling, that innate feeling to say, hey, this is what you are.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you have cravings of food, hey, this is what you want.
Yep.
I've never had that feeling like, hey, you are a boy. It was
be
always
a boy.
performative. It was always performative.
Yep.
And here's the thing, and it kills me the most because the black community say, oh, how would you know? How would you know? But since I was 4 years old, I was called faggot and gay. So y'all had indicators of something was different about me. But when I came out and said, no, you lying, you don't know what's going on. When Zaya comes out and saying, oh, she's too young, she don't know what's going on. We know what the fuck is going on.
That's what I'm saying.
And when you are a parent,
on?
you just
You know.
Or I hate when people say they have, like I always say, I have a gator, or I know when something's up. And I've always been like that. My husband has a person that lived in his old neighborhood that I watched grow up, and I had asked him about that person, and of course I think that person's going through their transition now, but I knew there was something different. Right. It sucks that people choose to ignore it because they hope they grow out of it.
People hope
that
they grow
is the
out of
fucking
it,
number
and people
one thing.
deny it.
Deny
they don't want to
it.
accept
But you know,
it.
I
But
have
also, it's not always safe for people to come out.
Yeah,
and that's the one thing. I have someone who is very close to me, and it's a very touchy subject that I consistently let him know all the time. Whatever the fuck you want to be, just know I will be there supporting you regardless of whatever you want to be. You may not know what you want to be right now, but I'm here. And regardless of whoever is around you and makes you feel like that maybe you are different, you are who you are. If you want to be a dancer, a singer, an actor, a ballet fucking arena, whoever you want to be, I'm there. And that's the thing that families and parents and people around need to do, because that is what Dwayne Wade did for his daughter.
And to play devil's advocate, and this is how real I want to make this conversation. What you just said is beautiful, and more people need to extend themselves.
Yeah.
And you have that feeling about someone or anything, just extend yourself. Don't be shady about it. Hey, you gay? Like, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Especially when it's not allowed to be gay in America as a black person. Like, don't do that. Extend yourself. But the devil's advocate part I want to add is, look at it this way. If I would have came to you and said, hey, or you would have came to me, hey, you could come out, you could do whatever you want to do. I support you. But you have people around you who think the way you do. I still feel unsafe.
Yep.
Even though you're giving me that olive branch, I know the people who are next to you or associated with you will want me not to be here. So that still adds a layer of complexities
and
to this
I
conversation.
think that what people have to do overall is, everyone has a point in their life when they wanted to do something in their life that people might not have agreed of. Right. Whether it's go with the career your parents didn't see fit for you, whether it's date outside your race, date someone that someone didn't think was good enough for you, try a different job, go for a different car, whatever it is. Everyone has experienced that type of fear of speaking to someone who has such a hold on you and revealing something that you truly want. And I want people to revisit that emotion in that moment, because that will help you relate and understand. And that's not to the magnitude of what they're experiencing, but just remember how your stomach was dropping and how horrible it was. Right. Because for me, I try to explain to people, there's plenty of times when, you know, they saw you wanting to be a doctor, they want you to be a doctor, but you wanted to go in the creative route. Right. And they didn't think that it would be something that's profitable, but you were scared, you try to follow suit, and your spirit was fighting against it. Imagine being born into a body where you could not be who the fuck you're meant to be. And you're sitting here, I'm not gonna lie, I've seen people before transition and after, usually they look very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable for them. You can
see it.
You can see that if you really fuck with that person and their vibe. I remember as a kid, me and Ashley would have conversations about Mojo. Because Ashley's family is a little different. Yeah. And again, not having the same experience as my family had. So for me, the conversation, me and Ashley would have it, I knew that Mojo, before she transitioned, there was something different about Mojo. Plus, I already knew her cousin at the time. And Justin is a little more outspoken at the time, but Justin's experience is different because he's gay. Yeah. He's not trans. So I knew there was something different. And then I think when I finally added you on I always had you on Facebook. You was doing sunglasses or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then I slowly saw the transition, and I was like, this is what we used to talk about, but we couldn't vocalize it because being fearful of what your experience might be. Right. And I've seen that happen to people, but I tell people all the time, be understanding, because this is something that is not the norm in society. And the same way it might not be the norm in your family for Dany to maybe do podcasting and Dany wanted to work in another field or whatever. Right. The same fears of coming out to your parent and standing up, they're standing up against parents, society, a lot of other things that stand in their way of you being who you want to be. Right. Loving who you want to love. Right. You know what I mean? And
I think for me, it was a choice. When I ultimately decided to transition, because I've been transitioning medically for almost 4 years now. The choice was I was going to kill myself. Yeah. I was going to kill myself. I was literally on a Staten Island ferry. I was going to jump off into the motors and kill myself. Oh my God. That's the spot I was at in my life. Just over it. Because it came to a point where, like, you've been in this closet so long. You a public figure. You someone who is sociable. You is someone everyone really knows. Yep. You're living in this closet mentally, because it's not that you don't have the agency or willpower to do it. Mentally, you're living in this closet that I didn't create, but I'm in it, you know. And when I decided not to complete suicide, I said, if you're gonna live here, you're gonna live in your absolute truth. And this is what you see now. This is the truth of who I am. This is how I can wake up and say, you know what? Nothing was in vain. You know, and people say, oh, how Zaya's gonna know? You know, when you get older, that's irreversible. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I don't like that people assume that she's medically
getting surgery. First of all, in this country, you cannot get sexual reassignment surgery until you're 18, and you will have to go through counseling or therapy beforehand to do so. That's number one. Number two, we have to stop obsessing over children's genitals. That's fucking creepy and that's fucking weird. Number three, at any point you didn't know or was confused about, look this shit the fuck up, because the information is out there. What the Wades are doing, they are letting their child, they are literally taking apart the closet that society builds, and y'all are mad about it. But then y'all hate people who live in the closet. You can't have it both ways.
Facts.
You have to pick
that
one.
That is a fact. Y'all can't hate down low and then hate people who are just
and tell people to keep their kids in the closet.
Yeah. But here's a bigger point. People were saying, like, oh, how does she know what she wants at 12? First of all, I know a plethora of people fucking and sucking at 12.
But wait, hold on. Pause. I want to steer away from that because that takes it back to sexuality. And that's not the same conversation.
True.
You know, but I get that comparison completely. Yeah. Because at 12, you know what the fuck you want to do, who you want to be, how you want to show up in the world. But I want to take it away from that because a lot of people use that as reason to say,
you know what,
that
you're
person's
absolutely
gay
correct.
or X, Y, and Z.
Because there's a difference in attraction and feeling like, why do I have something come over me and telling me this is not like, I don't like this.
Right.
And I understand your point. And what's also tough is there was a lot of, at least on my feed, I have a lot of lesbian friends or lesbian people who I went to school with, and they came out with their story like, hey, I knew when I was 9. But again, it's a little different because you knew that you were attracted to females, right? We all have this urge in our body when we see someone we think is fine as fuck, female or male, that goes off, so we know what we're attracted to.
Right.
That's true.
It's
you
different.
have to account for the people who's been molested,
Of
sexually
course.
violated, so their
And that
work
has
on
some
sexuality
impact
is
on their
completely different,
sexuality.
completely.
And thinking about which gender you identify is a little tough, because here you are, at the time you're not buying your clothes, right? So your parents are buying you clothes based on your genitalia,
Right.
and putting you in overalls and jeans and whatever, buying you trucks and shit like that.
Right.
But in your mind, it's like you're looking over at your sister's toy chest and
Right.
saying, I like playing with Barbies. I want to style my hair a different way, or
Right.
That's true.
And I want to arch my eyebrows a little more. I want lip gloss, and playing your mom's makeup and getting caught. Those are things that's tough, because everyone's yelling at you saying, no, you're a boy, and you're battling like, oh, what is something wrong with me?
Right.
What's wrong? It's
a gender
completely
construct.
different when you're trying to figure out your sexuality. But I want to say that it still doesn't take away the fact that I think people should be understanding towards people who don't know or have a hard time coming out about their sexuality. The struggle is different, but still, I think hard for both parties to go through.
Do you know who also was it
Danny, stop fucking with the corn.
Sorry. Angelina Jolie. Her daughter Maddox. I think it was Maddox.
She has I thought the son name is Maddox, and then
Oh,
you mean the she has a daughter that she adopted from like Ethiopia, right?
Yes, and they had so much to say.
No, not Angelina Jolie. You talking about Charlize Theron?
Yes, Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron has a trans daughter.
Yes,
Black.
yes, that's
I didn't
who it
know
is.
that.
That's who it is. I'm sorry.
I didn't know that.
But yes, there was a lot of backlash about how her daughter dressed, and she completely just like, I don't give a fuck about what y'all talking about, like,
Right?
Because at the same time, like, again, this is her daughter.
But we know as children what we identify gender-wise, what makes sense to us, because it's all energy-based.
Right.
We know that. Like, I have pictures of me in kindergarten. We used to have dress up, and I used to wear the dresses. Literally, I have pictures of that. And my school teachers were so supportive of it. Oh, let that child do whatever that child. They were black women. Black women are the epitome of why I'm here. So I say we know these things as children. And it doesn't relate to sexuality. I don't have to know I'm a girl to think I want to fuck a boy.
So
I know I'm a girl. That's all it is.
Right.
So Mojo.
Yes.
I know we mentioned we wanted to get to this, and I want to make sure we spend time on this. So your Facebook post.
Yes.
I want to talk about the post, and I
Okay.
want to talk about the comments.
Yes.
And I want to talk about, and if you feel like you want to share this, but I want to talk about how it made you feel.
Okay.
And if you had any conversations with other people about that.
So
And did people expose themselves to you when you're like, oh, I know you, and this is fucking nuts, like that you even can comment on this?
So for me, this Black History Month, like I said earlier in this interview, I've never seen a Black family as a unit that's on celebrity scale publicly celebrate their trans child while it's still a child. Never seen it before, ever. So to me, that was Black history. My post went viral, not because of the people I am associated with.
It's because you said Black
Because
history.
in my Facebook land, my shit is vetted. I don't have anyone on my Facebook that is fucking crazy, homophobic, transphobic, any of that stuff, anti-Black. Because you could be Black and be anti-Black. That's a different podcast episode. I don't have any of that. So it was the people who because all my posts are public. It was the people who started sharing it that brought their ignorance in. Yep. So you have people from West Bubblefuck. You have people from somebody's dirty bayou, like coming in, giving their comments.
How many shares is it at now?
Last time I checked, it was at 9,000 shares, almost 2.4K likes, and the comments is in the millions at this point. I had to turn it off because my phone was a mess.
Wow.
But for me, I'm not taken aback by that conversation because I had these conversations in public settings and I've been doing it for years. This is not my first trip to the rodeo. You know, for me, what was hard is seeing that this is me just celebrating this child. This child has to live this life.
Right.
And I know that child is on social media because every 12-year-old is on a TikTok, is on an Instagram, or X, Y, and Z. So it's like, it's only so much you can shelter a child without depriving a child of what a child is doing. You know, so I know she's seeing this. Even if she's not acknowledging it, I'm glad they put that video out. Because what it showed to the world is that not only is she smart, she's wise.
Right.
And she has something, which I feel a lot of trans people are the shamans of the community. She has a spirituality about her that's just, you know what, I'm here. And I've been here. And now I'm making sure that I'm here in my fullest form.
She also acknowledged that not everyone's going to have the same experience as her.
Not everyone's going to have the same experience.
She's in a different... she's being raised in a different lifestyle.
Right. And she has the privilege, and that's the thing. She has the privilege.
And she spoke about the privilege too.
Yeah, she has the privilege of being educated and being surrounded by people who love her. A lot of trans folk are of the poverty level. We don't have that privilege. Me, I'm very dangerous and I'm very hands-on. So people could try it online, but it's rare that I get it in person.
So what's the craziest comment that you've seen? Because I know you stopped reading at a certain point. But what was the craziest comment?
The craziest comment is when this man, I'm not even going to call him this, the less of a man commented, well, if a 12-year-old could decide they want to be a girl, a 12-year-old could decide they want to fuck R. Kelly.
I saw that comment. I sent that shit to my family because that's fucking sick.
That's when I knew that we the black community
disgusting.
is more open to pedophilia than gender identity. And that was the moment I said in my head, this has gone too fucking far, and I muted that shit.
That's crazy that you said that because I was going to say that if you didn't say that. I said that out, and me and my sister had a conversation about it.
Because somebody sent me that comment because I'm definitely posting it in my...
And she said to me, she said, Nas, you are fucking lying. I said, no, I'm going to screenshot this bitch.
Yes, I need that. I need that ASAP on my Instagram.
And she said, are you kidding me? I said,
and this is how a lot of people think in the community.
That person got some skeletons in their fucking closet. They're disgusting.
How often are the pedophile
that
family members invited to the Christmas dinners? Sitting across the people they continue to violate. But the trans person coming in the room is no.
I remember the Christmas
my Transgiving, yes.
That shit was so funny.
Yeah,
oh
shout
my
out to Slate
God.
TV. But yeah, so that's when I knew that this shit is deeper than I ever imagined.
I saw a lot of comments. A lot of people were upset that you brought Black History Month into it.
This is not Black History.
And a lot of people try to say, I'm not homophobic. I just have the problem with you saying that this is making...
I'm not homophobic, but... Because you have to hit the butt. But this is why I'm homophobic.
I have a problem with you saying that this is Black history. How is this Black history?
Right. Oh, shut the fuck up.
You're not going to fuck up what our ancestors did for us. A lot of people were saying shit like that.
Now, a good family friend of mine is Shaniqua. That is 50 Cent's baby mom.
Yeah.
That was her, I love Mojo X, Y, and Z, but this is not Black history. Because, there's nothing Black history about this. And my girl, Courtney, shout out to Courtney from Jersey, she brought up the fact that, well, what is Black history? Because if we sing Black history, we celebrate the first and stuff of things. This is the first time we've ever seen
exactly,
this.
on this scale.
It's not always have to be about civil rights movement.
And if we've seen
because
this...
Because Martin Luther King not the first person to get locked up.
And just a caveat, it's just... Yeah. If we had seen this in the past, the response would have been different.
Yes.
It's such a big deal because the person who child it is the Dwayne Wade. Is the Gabrielle Union. Gabrielle Union was one of the key Black actresses growing up in the 90s and the 2000s.
Right.
Dwayne Wade, I remember he had his own sidekick. He had the big ass endorsements.
Right.
So these are huge ass people
National
coming
treasures.
up. These are announcing their support of their trans child.
They are Black history. So
two historical figures right now coming out and saying this on such a and doing media tours about it.
Media.
Going to big platforms. We have never seen it.
And what we've never seen is a conversation of parents supporting their children's gender identity while they're still a child.
Yep.
We've never
Right.
seen it.
The
The
last
closest we
time
got
we
is
saw
with
was that-
Sade and her son, her trans son.
last
That's the
time-
closest we've got to it.
There's a
But that's
girl-
after the tribulation
Do
of
you
them
remember
and stuff.
there's a trans girl named Jazz? And she has her own show on TLC. I don't know. I think she's like white or something like that. And she came out at 7.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it was a few years ago, and it hit the fucking media waves crazy. And because it was a white girl, obviously she did a lot of like the morning news and Good Morning America type of things.
Right.
Got her own show, and she recently, I think, had her surgery.
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and so
At
the
18.
response. I didn't see the black community in an uproar and talking about how do you know at 12. She came out at 7.
Right.
She came out at 7. And now she has her own show showing her transition and showing why her parents allowing her to transition so early. You know, she did a lot of blockers so she doesn't go through puberty as a male.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And she's been showing like these are the benefits of a child being able to communicate to the parent effectively what they're feeling, how they're feeling, having the right support, and where this person is now.
Yes.
And
But the
so
white
now
trans experience is completely
It's
different from the black
different,
trans experience.
But when people talk about it like as if this is the first time it's happening, it's the first time it's happening in our community. But I will say you've probably seen this shit on the news and just say, oh, it's another white person. But understand there's other people and they're being supported by their own kind. Blacks, I just feel like we give each other such a hard time when there's something that's different, that anything that makes us different from what society says a black person is, it's crazy. A black person gets rich, it's a fucking problem. You know what I mean? If we want to transition, we want to change anything, if we want to change our hair, it's always a problem. And it makes a big thing about it.
It's an issue. Sorry, poor black, straight and ugly.
Yeah,
it's an issue.
It's disgusting. So
Welcome to my life. I wake up every morning and I have to have these conversations every morning of my life.
It's completely draining.
It is draining.
It's
and
draining.
I want to give a shout out to all the allies out there who take on this work. So the labor is not always on me. Like I so appreciate it. And I'm glad that we're getting to a spot now where people say, okay, y'all really are fucked up about this. Like we can't be silent about it as allies anymore. Because y'all really out here wilding.
Yeah. I was talking to my boyfriend. I said, babe, what if our child decides that they want to be trans? First thing he says, fuck it. We just gonna have to rock out with it. Like, fuck it. Like, what we gonna do? We can't change how he or she or they want to be.
Right.
We cannot do that because at the end of the day, we hated when our parents tried to tell us who we were and when we wanted to do something. And even though we knew it was right or wrong, we still did it. And regardless, if you feel like it's right or wrong, people have to go through their things because it's their life. They have to wake up with themselves every day.
Come on, preacher Danny, hit him.
They
Come
have
on,
to
somebody.
do. And this
Come
is
on, son. Let him use you. Let him use you.
For real, because this is the thing that I say every day. Like somebody say stuff to me, and I say,
EGELLOC.
Yes.
That's college spelled backwards.
Yo, and I say that all the time. I say, love yourself and love what you want to be more than anything
Love thy
else.
neighbor.
Yeah.
Because that is, and if we're going to talk about religion, that's the number one rule in the book.
And before we head out, guys, please stop using religion because you're fucking ignorant and you don't want to educate yourself on it, and stop using it as a tool and saying God this and God that, because if we really could talk about it, we can really, yes.
That's what they did
They
to
use
us.
the Bible against us for so we can be obedient slaves. And we're now using it as a tool for us to put people back into the boxes that they need to be. And we got to stop doing that.
We have to.
We're going to call a sinner, let's do it. I could point your colors out too, because I have done that. Like, you could talk about that person being trans, but you fucking your girlfriend every night, you're not married, and you shacking up. Stop playing, okay?
Not even only that. First of all, God gave man choice. So we all have the choice to do whatever the fuck we want to do.
But not to be funny, everyone's not Christian, and it's no shade.
That's true. You don't have to throw
it's
that.
No shade.
You
Everyone's
don't.
not
That's
Christian
true.
or have your spirituality.
That is
path.
actually true.
For some reason, I don't see a lot of other religions go so hard, but Christianity. Like Christians. I've seen that. I don't know. I didn't see any.
I don't see a lot of.
The
I don't
Muslim
want to say
community
that.
goes hard as
I don't
well.
think
I've
that.
seen it
I
across
see-
the board, but Christianity gives it different, because for our
the black
experience, a lot of
Christians
our black Christianity is not from blackness or rooted in blackness. That's not our native religion.
I just saw a lot of black Christians coming out.
Let me tell you, this is what it is.
I was like,
and it's not that they don't say that you don't know that Muslims or Jews or anybody else is doing it. It's black Christians that vocalize it the most.
Yeah.
We vocalize. We feel like we could just
shit on each other.
Yeah,
and oppress people who are already oppressed.
And the number, and what are we? Who are we? Who are we to judge? Who are we?
And I want to say on this note, at the end of the day, we're going to get to a place where children like Zaya are no longer media topics because we've practiced love and we practice understanding and we practice safe spaces. But that takes the work of us who are adults to educate and make sure that this is safe. And not only when shit flares up, but when the conversation gets quiet, are you still an ally? These are the things that we need to think about. Because people like me, I'm doing my work, but I'm just one person.
Yes.
You know, it takes literally a village.
New mom.
Homophobia is taught in the home.
Yeah, it is.
Racism and all the other
all taught,
xenophobia,
and it can be
all
unlearned.
that shit is.
And that's the greatest thing about it. It can be unlearned. But you have to be willing to unlearn it. Because any black person, and Huey P. Newton said it the best, any black person who wants to take out one group of black people because you don't agree or disagree with them, whatever, you're not pro-black. You're pro-privilege. You want privilege in this matter. And we're never going to advance that way. We're never going to advance that way. And when I think of, like you said, the contributions of the LGBTQ black folk and how we have molded and shaped society, how dare you say we not exist with Gucci belts on your waist? How dare you say we not exist with your gay designer furniture? How dare you say we not exist when we are black in this fight with y'all?
Fact.
It's siblinghood. This is a conversation we need to be having.
You talk all that shit, but I bet you about to wear a gay ass designer today.
Right. Queer people created Black Lives Matter to bail you and yours out of jail to make sure you ain't getting shot by police. How dare you? How dare you? And I always say this, something has to be true on both ends. If you can have an opinion on LGBTQ folks should can have an opinion on you. But society doesn't work that way, right?
Yeah.
Because what the fuck I saying like, I don't have a problem with straight people. I just don't agree with straightness. I would sound fucking crazy.
You would.
I would sound fucking crazy. People were like, what, bitch? What do you mean? I cannot have an opinion on that. So how is it that you can have an opinion on me?
What's for you?
Guys, please let us know what your thoughts are. No hate comments, no bullshit.
I love the hate comments. Expose yourself.
Let me tell you, you put a hate comment on my.
With.
Let me tell you, y'all put a motherfucking hate comment.
Yeah,
that's why I kept it up, because the community needs to see and people need to be held accountable
and exposed. Let me tell you, y'all put out a fucking hate comment. I will be arguing with y'all bitches this time. Stop playing.
I just want to also say to my friend, I'm not trying to shame you, but unfortunately, I just want our listeners. It's a teachable moment, but I do want our listeners to see that it's not just people of trans experience that get the backlash. It's people who support or have friends that are from that community. They also get the backlash of just supporting and loving. And so it makes, I don't want anyone to feel discouraged by having a friend or a relative or anyone in that community just because of the backlash you may receive. I think that it takes a strong person to stand up and just acknowledge that person is ignorant and share the education. And you can't force someone to drink the water that you could bring them to it. You can't force them to drink it.
Listen,
and standing up for what's right. Equality is what's right.
Yes.
Not bullying is what's right. That's a 12-year-old child who still has a life to live. And she has to grow up like Blue Ivy. They have to grow up and look back on this internet shit. Was it worth it?
Nope.
Was it worth it?
And just to finish out the conversation, if you don't have anything to say, you don't have to say anything. You know that, right?
And if that's not your kid, shut the fuck up.
Stupid.
Thank you. Fucking stupid.
Anyways, guys, Mojo, you got anything coming up that you want to plug, baby?
Yo, okay. Shout out to me, because I'm still here, right?
Yes.
So, mojodisco.com for all updates. I have my annual 90s house party coming up March 21st in Brooklyn. Proceeds are going towards the Black Trans Travel Fund, and we're just raising money. Every year I do this 90s house party. You both are invited. I would love to see you. Come through, support us for a good cause. March 21st, that's a Saturday. $5 to get in. Real cute. Real Brooklyn, real black, real. So come through. Everyone is welcome. It's not just LGBTQ.
Dany, you know what we should be? are the two bitches from Baps.
That would be lit.
Because
no one done that before.
You skinny and sidebar, guys, I'm pregnant. So surprise! I could be the other bitch because I got a belly. I got a belly.
I hate it here.
Well, there was the bomb.
Drop the Funk Master Flex.
Cypher, don't get gas.
Yes.
Just because I see y'all niggas. I know I'm getting fat, but it's a baby, okay? It's sponsored.
Baby, you still look good.
Thank you.
Okay, you still look good.
Anyways, what's your IG? What's your
at Mojo Disco, mojodisco.com, Mojo Disco on Twitter, Mojo Disco on Facebook. And listen, I know I get your dick hard. I know.
Ooh.
But that's between you and your God. Come correct. Okay? Period.
Spicy.
She said correct.
Dany, what's your handles?
At Dany Bonaducci. I only have one because I'm not on Facebook. Please do not DM me, message me, or anything above because I only have Instagram at this moment.
Yes. And follow me on IG at always_Nas. I do not add anyone on Facebook that I don't personally fuck with because I don't know how I got these extra niggas from MySpace days. I don't want no more.
Not MySpace.
Yeah.
Oh,
child. Follow us on IG at The Loud Ones Podcast, on Twitter at Loud Ones Podcast. Check our website out at www.theloudonespodcast.com. If you have any feedback, if you have any questions that you want to send in to us, you can hit us up at help@theloudonespodcast.com or even hit us on our Gmail account at theloudonespodcast@gmail. All right, guys.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Did you guys not notice we have a new logo?
Yes, guys. We have a new logo and everything. Let us know what you guys think about it.
I love it. It's very kind.
Thank you.
Very kind.
But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in on another episode of the Loud Ones Podcast. And we'll check you on the next episode.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye now.